Tiaf and also Mustafa Mohammed, as well as Ehizoje Momo. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Amici. Good morning, my colleagues. Good morning, dear listener. Wow, today is 11th?
Where are you starting from?
Yeah, PVC. You have to collect your PVC, collect your PVC. Do you know what the time is now? It's just about past 9, and it's 11th of January. You have 4 days to go and collect, to walk to the ward to collect your PVC.
The ward level.
The ward level.
The one that is closest
to you, because that is the power you have to change whatever government. The president has spoken. He has served 2 terms according to the Nigerian Constitution. He's finishing the 2nd term, and he's hitting his chest boldly, saying that he thinks he has achieved successes in all sectors of the economy. Amechi, some persons whisper to themselves and I heard saying that how come the president went on campaign for the first time with the APC presidential candidate and a train attack in Igwebe happened and he had not made a comment on that on the podium. And has
he issued a statement?
It's the Minister of Transportation that issued a statement, funny enough. But some people say it's the federal government and it's the federal government that issued this thing. You see, there is a level which such things downs tension among the citizens when the president, who is a father figure, recognizes that some citizens in his country have been affected and he shows empathy. Amechi, if the president just say, oh, the presidency is not happy with this and condemn it, and that condemnation that we keep talking about, there's a way it downs the tension and it makes the people feel belong to this country. Amechi, the president has a lot to answer before he leaves office regarding insecurity, because we have not seen.
He said he has dealt with Boko Haram in the northeast.
Yes,
to that extent, he says he has succeeded.
You know, when we said the wave was coming to the north central, to the northwest, the wave came to the northwest with banditry, and it came to the north central with Fulani herdsmen attack, and it's moving now to the south. And if you say you have achieved success, is it only the insurgency in the southeast, in northeast that has stopped that is a success? No. The attack in Igwebe, my own village, is also an attack and is insecurity.
Okay, Mustafa Mohammed.
Thank you very much. Good morning, listeners. Maybe I have to start with this. The Fulani herdsmen attack. Underline the word Fulani. In every tribe in Nigeria, there are criminals. Therefore, we don't have to associate any aspect of crime with any tribe, because 99% of those tribesmen are not criminals. So it doesn't matter what kind of crime anybody is committing. Associating a particular tribe with a particular crime is actually not the right thing to do.
Suspected herdsmen. Suspected herdsmen,
okay, you are
suspected farmers clashes.
I agree.
Suspected herdsmen and suspected farmers clash.
Thank you very much for withdrawing your word. Now coming back to the PVC, we know that the APC and President Muhammadu Buhari, before they came on board in 2015-2016, made about 62 promises that is there on the internet for the citizens to see. Nigerians felt the PDP, former President Goodluck Jonathan, were not solving their problems after, like close to 2 decades, and they voted them out. Now, it's not just collecting the PVC. The Nigerian citizens need to assess the APC government and its president in the past 7.5 to 8 years, including the National Assembly, state governors, ministers, and state assemblies. Find out if they have done well or they have not. The promises about boosting electricity, putting new power line, power generation, have they done that? What about our roads, our bridges, constructions going on, abandoned road contracts? What about that one? Security. What about strike in education?
Security, the federal government yesterday said elections will hold despite the concerns, and that indeed the security agencies will provide the enabling environment.
We are talking about the capacity, the logistics of the security personnel. I'll just give you a simple example close to Abuja here. Look at the Abuja-Kefi highway. Look at the population. It's like multiple times the population of Abuja, people who work in Abuja or do business in Abuja, but they also live there. How many police divisions do they have along Abuja-Kefi highway? What about Suleja on the way to Niger? What about Gwagwalada? We need to tell ourselves the truth as citizens and government. The formations we have is not adequate. They don't have the capacity to take care of these places. When the Kaduna train abduction happened, it was a red flag. But they went to sleep, and it happened in Edo. When before the Nyanya bomb blast, this very sad event, there were heaps of waste being dumped by the roadside. I told a highly placed security official that, look, this could be a soft target because but they ignore it. It happened. Bama itself, when they were chased, when BH was chased away from
You're from Borno State.
Yes. When they were
Can you tell us what is happening there against the statement of the president?
Let me tell you something. If you are in the state capital, you can go to sleep with your eyes closed. But I cannot guarantee you that if you are in any town outside the state capital, because you may not go up to 10 kilometers without any fear. Anything can happen.
Okay. Let's bring in Hizoje Momo. Perhaps the president got intelligence report that all is well there. Well, what INEC has said is that if grain insecurity is not tackled, it may not deploy to some parts of the country. And if the percentage of voters, registered voters in these places, are huge enough to affect the outcome of the election, then it has to begin to think of either cancellation or postponement. The Nigerian government says no, the election will hold. The president says, I've fulfilled my promise on security. Mustafa gave us a report from his own state, Borno, about the state of affairs there. Hizoje, what do you make out of all this?
Well, good morning, Amechi. Good morning, colleagues, and good morning, listener. I heard the governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, speak recently. I think he was at the villa, and he said that in 2015, 2019 elections were conducted. I'm going to be taking Borno as a case study now, and that even in that period, it was even the period where there was heightened, level of insecurity in that area, and elections held. So he is optimistic that in 2023 elections will hold. Amici, you know that these issues of insecurity, it's been with us for some time now, and we have, been able to hold elections irrespective of these issues of insecurity. In 2023, it's still with us. What the INEC official has said, as far as I'm concerned, is something that should be reviewed, plans put in place, and whatever needs to be done should be done. Because the enthusiasm that we have in 2023, this 2023 election, Amechi, you know that compared to other elections, especially with regards to young Nigerians, it's not been seen. So we cannot dampen that morale. And that's why
the election will be different in the sense that a lot of young people who were showing apathy, who were not interested, football, have suddenly showed interest and are eager, paying money to participate. We get that they pay money to be allowed into INEC PVC distribution centers to collect their voters card is unprecedented.
The other issue that we need to be very careful about, which in our sister session we also try to review, is the fact that even in Edo State of recent, you had people blocking the road because they could not get their PVCs. There may be some level of agitation because many Nigerians are going, trooping to these centers to get their PVCs. They are getting stories, and some persons are not being able to access it day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. But there's still that eagerness to get it. However, that as we get to the last days of this PVC collection, we have to, the security agencies and INEC, we need to prepare for some kind of, I don't want to call it agitation, or rush. Yes, and that the fact that the people sometimes want to be disenfranchised, they don't want that to happen. So they should also look out for that kind of situation. That's the way I look at it. The president's comment. Well, he has the right to say what he said, but somebody also said that if you actually sincerely review what the situation is with what is the data, we know what the NBS and the other agencies put out in terms of poverty, the numbers that were there. Was that what the president met before now? If he says he has done enough, we have more people who are poor. There are areas here where he's definitely done some things, especially now that the world is in a crisis, Amechi. So for President Muhammadu Buhari, under this period when he was in power, definitely wasn't very easy. Yes, some achievements, but a whole lot of things that he did not really, achieve as president.
Tell the chief, we have always advised Nigerians who are agitated, who are angry with the system, to express that anger in the most legitimate way, and that is go to the polling booth on voting day and express your anger. It appears that is what we are seeing now. A lot of people are, the way they are going after PVCs, you can feel the anger in them, and you can feel that on election day they will come out early, and some of them have said after voting they will stay behind to protect their votes, to express the anger. And that is exactly what we need in a democracy, coming at a time that perception that perhaps the real vote strength in Nigeria will be known after this election because of biometric accreditation, the use of BVAS and electronic transmission of results. It has also emboldened citizens not just to vote, but they are having that confidence that their vote will count.
Amechi, good morning to you. Good morning, listener. I attended a forum sometime late last year, and concerns were raised, especially by very well-known northern elders about participation in the elections. I took it for granted before then that Nigerians are as eager to participate in the elections as one would expect. But they also raised concerns that with the state of things and the security situation in some parts, especially in northern Nigeria, some persons may decide, not to go out there and vote. But the issues are also there. Apart from the issue of insecurity, there are also other issues that Nigerians will be voting for or against on February 25 and March 11, depending on which state, as it were. But clearly, those are the issues. And I was just going through the inauguration address by the president in 2015, and he was very clear about Boko Haram, and the fact that we also look at all sides on this program. One thing you can't take away is the fact that Boko Haram has, to a very reasonable extent, degraded. The Borno governor, Israel, made mention when he was in the villa about 4 or 5 days ago. He said Borno State is 90% safe for elections. And he has closed down a number of IDPs camps. Some persons have been moved back to their locations. I have not heard of attacks on those persons who have gone back, to their locations. So, to a large extent, and the kind of reports we also have in the media, one would want to believe that to a large extent, those territories, that Boko Haram, had control over or were launching attack have, to a large extent been retaken, and there's some sense of confidence. But then the president also, you will recall that I think in his Democracy Day speech, he had said, look, apart from the Boko Haram thing, the emergence, the remnants of the Boko Haram are the ones going into the northwest.
Can we take the submission of both the president and the governor of Borno State as the gospel truth?
That's why I made mention of, even those of us in the media, we were the ones reporting Boko Haram has attacked here, this has attacked here, this has attacked. And reasonably, most of those reports, we're not seeing them or reading them as often, as it's not that they're not attacking. Definitely across the world, where terrorists have a foothold, it takes a lot of time, before you don't see their traces. So beyond what the president has said and beyond what the governor has also said, we are also in the media. We've been reading these reports from the sources, that we have reasonably. I want to think that. But again, the president in his inauguration address said, Boko Haram cannot be said to be defeated if the Chibok school girls are not rescued. I recall that very vividly. How many of them have not been accounted for today? 93.
Amechi, I can say that 90% of our colleagues in Nigeria, especially who had the opportunity of going on the networks, radio, television, publishing national newspapers, have not had the opportunity of visiting Borno, Yobe, or Adamawa, especially in the past 5 years. So, and it's not just flying into the state capital that matters. How many have gone to the rural areas, including places like Chibok, Bama, Monguno, Baga, and other places? Whatever any other person says, if you don't go to the grassroots, you cannot have the real information. And let me say this. He who wears the shoes knows where it pinches. For the sake of governance, public relations, to avoid bringing anxiety and information management, political appointees and government officials and elected officials can say so many things, but move around the north. We still know that there are more than 13 million displaced farmers. We know that there are still a lot of IDPs. Even though states like Zamfara refuse to formally organize IDP camps, we have them in Zamfara, we have them in Katsina, and even if you close the IDP camps, those who return to the homes, have they been living a normal life? The question you ask is,
Okay.
our people are mostly agrarian and traders. What kind of life are they living?
So for you to find out for yourself, all you need is to move into Borno State and crisscross that state to see whether what the president said or what the governor said or what Mustafa said is right or wrong.
Is he
Who
on the
want
Borno
to take
state
the
now?
risk?
Because we heard about
No,
the
no,
attack
he
in
mentioned,
Benugwari,
yes, he
2 days
mentioned
ago.
Boko Haram in the northeast.
It was very good.
There are terror and terrorists across every part of the country. But let's hear from you. Let's share some of the emails you have sent to our platform.
Good morning and welcome to the mail segment. I am Chide